Hi everyone, how's it going? This is Michael for Spirit Comics. Welcome to another review. Now this will be of the new Fantastic Four. Just came out. Number 1. Now if you didn't know, please, I am a small channel. So please do subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my reviews and enjoy this content. I don't have a Patreon as of yet. And please do smack that bell hard like She-Hulk so you can be notified each time a new video is uploaded. Also, please do like and share this video with others so they can enjoy it as well. And don't forget to leave your comments. That's very, very much appreciated. Now, as you know, the Fantastic Four came back. I believe it was because Marvel somehow got the rights to them again. I think who had the rights for so long? It was Sony or somebody. Anyways, this new comic book, this new run of Fantastic Four, is written by Dan Slott, and this is actually Legendary Legacy issue number 646. Because they're sticking with the legacy numbering even with the Fantastic Four. Now I know some people have issue with Dan Slott, and that's fine. That's fine. Not every writer is for every reader, and I'm gonna try not to spoil anything. So if I do, just forgive me. Because this is, in my opinion, a good story. Now, what I find to be confusing is that Chip Zdarsky, if I have his name right, I hope I got it right, he's currently writing Marvel 2-in-1, which stars The Thing and Johnny Storm of the Fantastic Four. Now, that series has not been canceled. The reason I say this, the reason I bring this up, is because this story seems to me like it takes place in the present day Marvel Universe. Now, some people will. I've heard one person say this is a flashback story. That's not the vibe I got off of this. Because currently in Marvel 2-in-1, the Thing and Johnny Storm are searching for Sue and Reed Richards and Sue Richards. And both of them, the Thing and Johnny Storm, are losing their powers in Marvel 2-in-1 in that comic book. In this comic book, it opens up with the Thing and actually the Johnny Storm looking back at some old memories, and he has his flame power. It's in full bloom. And there was nothing that started this story off that indicated this was in the past. I know Marvel has their issues and people have issues with Marvel, but at least when something happens in the past, they usually say, the writers usually put in there, so long ago, or then, or or in the past, or not with this issue, not with this story. There's nothing to indicate this was in the past. Whenever I read a story that is a flashback story, it doesn't matter if I'm reading something from Marvel or from DC. Usually there's something here in the upper left hand corner that says long ago or in the past, or then. Or even if there's not something here in the upper left hand corner on the first page, there's usually something to indicate within the story itself that the story is happening in the past. That's not so with this one, which makes it even more confusing because how does Marvel reconcile that with their series Marvel 2-in-1, which has the Thing and Johnny Storm searching for Reed Richards and Sue Richards, and at the same time they're losing their powers. That doesn't make sense to me. It's confusing, and it's not a good way to start off a new Fantastic Four run. So this story has that against it. Already from the very first page, we see that this little problem of consistency. At least when I think when Peter J. Tomasi and Dan Jurgens were writing Superman, Peter J. Tomasi was writing Superman and Dan Jurgens was writing Action Comics. They didn't stray too far from each other, so that there could be a consistency between the two books, Superman and Action Comics, because they both starred Superman. Anyway, with all of that out of the picture right now, this addressing the story itself. Well, I have to say this is a good story, and to start it all off, Ben Grimm, the Thing, this big guy here, is with his girlfriend Alicia, who he's been with for I don't know how many decades. And this lady here is, trying to find some homes for these kittens. And it's just such a cute way to start this story off. Because the lady says, "I just know you'd give them a good home." And Alicia's like, "Oh, listen to them purr. Ben, quick, lean in. You have to hear this." And he's like, "Oi, Alicia, come on. You don't really want a bunch of these furballs running around underfoot, do you?" And at the same time, Johnny Storm is at a Mets game with one of his friends. I think his name's Wyatt, and who apparently is his roommate. And I can tell that Johnny Storm is the one narrating because this little box here, this little text box, has a flame on it, just like Johnny Storm. And so it goes back to Alicia and Ben, going back and forth about the cats. And I have to admit that the artist did a really good job with these cats. I can't say that the overall art is, stellar, but it's good. It's good. And these look like cats, and it is very cute. And so Ben sort of gives in, saying, maybe these little fuzz buckets ain't so horrible. And while at the same time, Johnny his friend are at this Mets game, and they put him on the jumbotron. Welcome to Johnny Storm. And the moment this his picture goes up, these girls start crowding him, for a picture, an autograph, and they're smiling. That's something that you don't see in a Marvel comic book very often. You don't see people smiling very often. And that's because I think that the Marvel Universe is so very dark. And I don't mean in dark as in color or texture. I mean as in themes. Now, something I do want to point out is this story starts off with bright tones. Look at these yellows, and of course the orange for Ben Grimm, and the orange and yellow for Johnny's fire, and even the colors on this page. Ben's shirt, it's a nice shade of green, and the expression on his face, it's kind of goofy, but I like it. And the way that Alicia is standing, and the way she's talking, it just seems like a good story. And then we get into not the meat of the story, but we get into a prank that happened because somebody puts up in the air Fantastic Four, and that gets everybody's hopes up that the remaining members have returned. So both Johnny and Ben see this. Johnny, flame on! And he goes to see what this is all about. And Alicia senses that something's wrong with Ben, because he's not so sure that Reed Richards and Sue Richards are back, because he just doesn't have that same hope that Johnny does. But Alicia's a very kind woman. She says, "It's okay. Take your time. I'm here. I will always be here for you, Ben. And you can tell me anything." Because she senses that he's not happy and he's upset. At the same time, Johnny Storm, aka the Human Torch, flies to check this out. And he doesn't like what he finds, because Ben's saying it ain't them. And that's what Johnny finds out, that it's not Reed and Sue Richards. He says, "Kids, Yancey Street kids." And this one says, "Oh," because realizes that he's caught. And doing this got the hopes up of a lot of people. And so Johnny says this was all a Yancey Street gang prank. He's mad. He's upset because he misses his sister, Sue, who's married to Reed Richards. And the blonde kid is saying that he told him not to do it, and he's like, "Shut up." He's like, "No, you shut up. Look at him. He's gonna burn us," because he's afraid. And this little smart mouth says he ain't burning nobody, just gonna stick us in the negative zone or some. Now, he's not afraid of the torch at all, But this dude is. That shows proper respect for a superhero. This kid here in the yellow, he has no respect for superheroes at all. This one does, because in the purple, because he knows that the superheroes, they have the power to do whatever they want. But it's common knowledge that usually they won't. And this news anchor is reporting that the signal flare was all a fake. So it let down everybody. Let down everybody's hopes, and she's sort of retelling the origin of how they became the Fantastic Four through a trip into space. And she says that they've reached out to both surviving and substitute members of the Fantastic Four, to get their thoughts on this prank, and where Reed and Sue Richards might be. And Ben's no comment. And Medusa of the Inhumans, and also Crystal but Medusa and Crystal are of the Inhumans. And Medusa has faith that that they will return home safely. But Crystal worries mainly for Johnny and Ben, because as she says, this is a time of great pain for the two of them. They're the ones that lost the most. And this character, Luke Cage, who I know nothing about him, so, and he says, shame what happened to those kids so young. I'm a father, and that makes me more determined than ever to keep my family away from this kind of life. And then Jennifer Walters, who's also the She-Hulk, says that, the prank did seem cruel, but the perpetrators, they're minors, and that this was a misdemeanor, and she's going to be the one prosecuting them. And I have to say that Jennifer Walters was really drawn excellent. And Johnny Storm goes down there. He's talking to him, and he's talking to her, and he's upset. But she's still going to represent the kids. And she said that it was Ben's idea to drop the charges. But you have to wonder, where did they get that flare gun? But Ben Grimm, this guy here in green, has an idea. So he goes to this place, and he sees this case being broken into. Something's missing, so he looks into this box, and he says it's about to add an old tale of the Fantastic Four, which never really got told. They were out in space, and this person, I can't remember their name, basically tells them that to get back, for them to get back home during this trip, because all four of them were together at this point, that Johnny Storm would have to sing, because it would activate her staff. And this is where it got really funny. And she says that she needs the best singer of all of them. And Sue Richards says, it's me. But the thing Reed Richards, this dude, I'm not sure I forget his name, Alicia, and they're the son of Reed and Sue Richards. I'll say Johnny. He says me. So apparently he's the best singer, and this does not sit well with Sue Richards. And she says, Reed, you said you love my singing. Subjectively, yes. But objectively, as a scientist, I have to say that Johnny's timbre is, sorry dear, I have to steer the ship. And then Sue picks up her son and says, honey, you think mommy can? And the boy says, please mommy, don't sing. And then look at the expression on her face here. That is just hilarious. She is upset because you can see the ice in her voice here, where she says, fine. She's mad, she's upset. Oh gosh. And so Johnny Storm starts to sing, and it activates this staff, and somehow it gets them home. And even they see Manhattan, and you can hear them all saying, Johnny! He's like, you did it, Johnny, we're home. You can stop any time now. And so that's the tale that Ben Grimm was telling this guy here. And it was just, a really funny tale. But it ends on a really interesting note. And I have the physical copy as well, so I don't want to spoil that part for you, because so I'm going to zoom out and skip past this, because that's a reveal. That's a big part of this story that I hope comes to fruition. And this is Johnny Storm. He's upset because they still can't find Reed Richards and Sue Richards. I mean, it's really eating him up, because Sue is his sister. And he screams into the sky, you're the smartest man in the universe, I know. You're out there, and I know you've gotta have some way to see me, to hear me, because and you're smart enough to figure out a way to show me a sign. So he's looking for a sign, and he comes back down there. And so I'm going to skip past that, so you can go out and buy the book and find out what happens. Now this is another story within the book. It's a short story involving Dr. Doom. Now if you've been reading Iron Man, Marvel 2-in-1, you know that Dr. Doom, who was traditionally a bad guy, has been acting as a good guy. And this is Latveria, the the nation that Doctor Doom rules over. And this is a woman who's part of a resistance movement there in Latveria, because people keep picking on a certain group of individuals there in Latveria. And she sneaks into the castle and says, "Has our angel returned to us?" Because that's how she sees Doctor Doom. "Intruder, who would dare invade the sanctity of Doom's home?" And she basically says she doesn't answer because, these are robots. He says, "No one sees the master." And here comes Doom. "I have heard enough." Doom! And this is an interesting way to paint the story. It's almost, I'm not going to say it's political, but Doctor Doom is a person who has kept himself away from the people of Latveria for so long that he really has no idea what's going on. And so this woman comes to beg him to please help the resistance stop being picked on. And he thinks, that his face has something to do with the way she and others see him. So he shows her the face of Doom, which is never actually shown in comic books, I think. And she says, "Your motherland has suffered scars in your absence. She's endured dictators and strongmen. Trust me, she would more than anyone welcome any face of Doom. But what she needs to see is your true face." And so she hands the mask back to him. And basically she's saying that Doctor Doom is needed in Latveria. And I have to say that I like the artwork in this second story as well, because it's simple, but it's just at the same time it's really good. So he follows her down to where everybody else is fighting, and she says, "Our day of doom and victory." And he tells everybody to stand down when the soldiers who are fighting in his name get ready to aim. And these robots recognize his voice, so they stand down. But but they don't stand down fast enough because he uses his energy blast to take them out. And this is the last little story. I think that maybe Dan Slott was expecting that people would be a little bit upset that Sue Richards, Reed Richards, Johnny Storm, and the Thing were not all reunited in issue 1. So he wrote this one-page little comic, and it's cute. It's really cute. What the pop? I wait this long for a new FF, and they're not even back yet. Because you can see that he's holding the comic book. How hard is it to do a new #1 and get all 4 of them back together? Because he shows, and he shows all 4 of their faces on his hand. Yeah, what are you, Marvel? Stupid or something? And then he turns his head into a bomb. It goes, shh. And then this guy comes in special delivery for Mr. Impossible Man. I guess that's his name because I've never seen him before. He says, huh? Who'd even know I was in this panel? That's that right there is breaking the fourth wall. And the letter says, "Dear Impy," and you can see he's about to explode. Shh, almost down to down to the very end. As you can see it right there. Shh. That's happening as he reads. Dear Impy, please be informed the Fantastic Four will be back together in next month's issue. Yours, Marvel Comics XOXO Excelsior. And then he says, oh, okay then. That's not so bad. I mean, I've waited this long. 1 more month won't kill me. But know this. I'll be watching you, Marvel. Watching you. That was just a funny way to end it. So I really enjoyed this comic book. It could, I think it could have been better, but at the same time, I did enjoy it for what it was. It was a really good story. I had a lot of fun reading it. Especially this last short story with this Green Impossible Man. But what did you guys think of it? Leave your comments down below and tell me what you thought of it. Also, if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe and smack that notification bell like She-Hulk so you'll never miss a new upload. And do like and share this comic book review with others so they can enjoy it as well. And I will be reviewing the next issue when it comes out. So, till next time, true readers, this is Michael for Spirit Comics.